Hello, sophomores. I am super excited to be able to introduce our counseling team today. Thank you so much for joining our course selection presentation. It's been awesome seeing your faces amongst the hallways. We're going to talk to you about your course selection and how exactly you're going to enter your courses. So I'm going to talk to you about who we have with us today. For West Counseling Team, Mr. Boshin, Mr. Myers, Miss Zaranana, Miss Bacigalupo, myself, Mrs. Schock, and Miss Sadler. And then we also have our counseling intern, Mrs. McLaughlin. Your East counselors, we have Mr. Mankey and Mrs. Frederick. So some of the things that we are going to talk to you guys about today, we're going to go over your graduation requirements. We're going to talk to you about your junior course requirements, so the specific classes that you need to take as a junior. We're going to talk to you about the new classes that are going to be offered for next school year. We'll also talk to you about the course selection process and timeline. So exactly what does that look like? When do you have to complete this by? So we'll give you some timelines for that. We'll also talk to you about resources available to you. So counselors will be available to you to discuss your course selection, and hopefully we'll have some office hours to give to you. Also, what I wanted to let you guys know is that throughout this presentation, if you have any questions about what your presenter or the counselor is talking about, go ahead and throw it in the chat, and then at the end, we can go ahead and address those. So with that, I am going to pass it on to Mr. Myers.
Hi, everybody. How are you today? So what's going to pop up on the screen? There it is, your graduation requirements. So before you can earn your diploma here at McHenry High School, basically on the left, this is what you need to do. You need to have 4 years of English. So that means 8 semesters. So some of you juniors, if you're thinking of early graduation, or if you want to open up your schedule for next year, if you're having troubles, think of elective to take, you might want to take an additional English class, and that would open up another semester or a period for you senior year. You need 3 years of math, 3 years of science, 2.5 years of social science, the semester of health, 3.5 years of PE, driver's ed. Whether you take it here or you take it privately, we need some form of proof that you passed the classroom portion. So it's either a copy of your driver's license or the copy of the letter of completion if you did it top driver of Midwest. But some way we need to know that you completed the classroom portion of driver's ed. You need a semester of consumer ed and then 7 total electives. So that would mean 14 semesters of elective credits for a total of 24. If you do not pass a core requirement this year, you will need to repeat it in addition to your core requirements next year. So you need 12 credits total to be an 11th grader. So if you count up the number of credits you'll earn by the end of this year, hope that should equal 12 or more, and then you'll be labeled as a senior next year. So finish strong, okay? Next slide, please. And here are the junior requirements. So this is what you need to take next year. So English, you need 1 full credit, and there are your options down below. AP Language and Comp, Honors American Studies, which has a blended option, and English 3, which also has a blended option if you're looking at that. For math, you have many options. Your placement's going to depend on the previous math courses that you took, the grades that you earned, and you can see those in Skyward. So science, there are many options as well. Placement depends on the previous science courses and grades earned in those courses as well. Again, check out the curriculum guide that's on the district website, and you can look at many of the options you could take in either in the sciences. For U.S. history, everyone must have that. So it's AP U.S. history, Honors American Studies, or a year of U.S. history. And obviously, you're going to do 2 semesters of physical education. So with driver's ed, your birthday and eligibility determine when you take it. Again, many of you have taken it already. Some of you will be taking it next semester. Then also there's the summer school option, which is going to be touched on later in the presentation. And I've already touched on, if you're taking it privately, again, just bring us a copy of the letter of completion, or you can just wait until you have your license and then send us a picture of your license and you're all set. Okay, so I am done, and we're passing on the baton to the next presenter. Have a good day, guys.
Hi, sophomores. I am here to talk a little bit about the level change process, similar to last year. So this is more or less just kind of a refresher reminder of how this is going to work for this year. These course level changes are in regards to your core classes. Excuse me. So the process, like I said, similar to last year, this is if you want to change a placement. For example, if you are placed in or discuss with your teacher that you were going to be taking English 3 and instead want to go ahead and move into Honors American Studies, or vice versa. You were placed in Honors American Studies and now are rethinking and wanting to take English 3 instead. These are our level changes that need to be approved by the divisionals of each department. So the process is very simple. What you need to do is email your level change request to the divisional and include your counselor in that email. Make sure to include what class you're wanting to take and then why this is a better fit for you. Afterwards, the divisional will review that. They will contact you and your parent with their decision, whether it's been approved or denied. Once it's been approved, the counselor will go ahead and change it in your schedule. Important to note here, the deadline for requesting a level change is February 26th. So these need to be done before the master schedule is created, after which you are not allowed, well, you'll be able to still email, but this is the deadline for that. We can change them before they start creating the master schedule for next year. To the right, you're going to see the divisional contacts here. At the top is for English, Ms. Namakudis. Under her is social science, Mr. Sterner. And then it's math, Mr. Custodio. Science is Mr. Beagle. And then any fine arts or world language is Mrs. Bennett. If you guys have any questions or concerns, like I said, feel free to reach out to the counselor as well for any clarification. But you do need to email the change request to the divisional and just include your counselor as well. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the next slide with Ms. McLaughlin.
Welcome, sophomores. We are now going to talk about electives. So this is where you all get to be creative. If you remember back from freshman year in English, when you all did your career papers, you filled out likes and interests, which then created your career clusters. Your clusters are kind of what you're going to explore with your elective selections. So if you are on the path to college, they typically like to see a somewhat structured course progression in a specific pathway. So we suggest selecting electives you have a passion in to start kind of thinking of the future. A lot of the capstone classes lead the way to certain certifications. For example, Warrior Chef. Once you have taken the pathway and successfully completed the courses, you would get a food and handler certificate. So this can help you possibly pursue a career in this field for post-secondary options. For review on this slide, you can look at the career cluster pathway document, and it has references and links to eligibility for NCAA, as well as college requirements for admission. If you don't remember your career clusters, it's absolutely no big deal. You can log into Naviance at any time and you can view your clusters there. The clusters are not binding, but choosing a pathway that you have interest or passion in is always a great idea. So I am going to pass the presentation on to Ms. Bacci.
Hi everyone, I'm Ms. Bacci Galupo. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about blended learning. So I'm sure you've been hearing a lot about it, but if not, blended learning is both in face-to-face instruction and out-of-class digital activities. So if you take a blended course, you spend some time in the classroom as you're used to with the teacher. And then there are some blended days where you're out of the classroom working in groups on a project or working individually on something. Those blended days, that doesn't mean you don't have class. You're still going to be working on stuff, and you're going to have support of your teacher, so you can still meet with your teacher on those blended days. So these courses are great because students and teachers can control the pace and the place of their learning. This is our list of blended courses. Previously, we only had like maybe 14 blended courses. They were mostly for juniors and seniors. Currently, we have 52 blended courses, so we're adding a lot more. And as you look, you can see that they are in every single core content area. So if you're taking math, science, English, and you want to take blended courses, you could take all of those blended if you choose to. 9 of those classes are still offered in that traditional format as well. So now's the time to start talking with your families about whether blended is for you or not. We'd encourage you to give it a try. If you want to see more information on blended learning, there is another presentation in Schoology, and there's information in the curriculum guide as well. I'm going to pass the baton on to Mrs. Frederick.
Hi, everyone. I am going to be talking to you about new classes that our district has for you to take advantage of next year. We have some exciting new courses, and I'm going to try to give a brief description on the classes that you could take as juniors. But then if you have questions or you want more of an in-depth description, please check out our curriculum guide online. So the first class is Junior College and Career Seminar. So this is going to be for all juniors. It's a semester-long blended course. So a couple days a week, you're going to be in the class working on SAT prep, college and career exploration, working on things that are really going to prepare you for your future, such as resumes, job applications. And then the other days, it will be like a study hall. Where you could get work done for your other classes. This is now worth half a credit. So that's an exciting new opportunity for our junior students. We have Stagecraft, which is geared towards students who are interested in our theater pathway. It is a semester long, and it's going to look at some things like behind the scenes of theater, scene construction, makeup design, costume design, lighting, and sound. We have wind ensemble. So if you are a band student, I would definitely talk to your band teacher about this. There is an honors option. So that's an exciting opportunity for our students. And then looking at PE, we have some new PE options. Swimming basics. If you want to learn the basic swimming strokes, and if you just want to feel more comfortable and safe in the water, this is going to be a great class for you to take. It also is going to be the class that you will take before lifeguarding course. We have 0 Hour Fit for Life. So this is just a new PE option before school. Many of you are probably familiar with Fitness for Life. It's just now going to be offered before first period. I'm going to skip ahead to adventure education while we're talking about PE. This is going to be only for juniors and seniors, and it is geared towards students who like outdoor activities. So some examples will be archery, mountain biking, and snowshoeing. So this is going to be a very fun class or a fun option for PE. I'm going back up to broadcast journalism. This is a semester-long English elective for students who are interested in learning skills with reporting, interview skills, news writing, and production. Honors drones and unmanned flight for juniors and seniors who have taken a year of Project Lead the Way engineering or computer science courses prior. There's a $35 fee, but you do receive a small drone when you finish the class. You'll have it throughout the class to work with, and then it's yours to take when the class is over. You will work on flight simulations, and a couple days a week, you will have flight time outside. French 3 and German 3 blended. It's also dual credit through MCC. So if you take either of these courses, you will receive high school and college credit. AP, Comparative Government and Politics. This is a new option for students who are looking to take a semester-long AP social science course. So the focus is going to be on international issues. So if that's of interest to you, this is a great option. And then the next two classes that are listed are really just name changes. So Current Events in a Digital World was previously known as Learning in a Digital World, and Psychology in the World Today, previously known as Intro to Psychology. The last two classes are going to be options that you could take advantage of your senior year. So I just wanted to make sure you were aware of those classes, and you could look forward to taking those your senior year. So at this time, I'm going to pass it over to Ms. Sadler, who will talk to you about summer school. Oh, Ms. Sadler, I think you're muted.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Ms. Frederick. So I was muted, so summer school is a great option. There's several reasons to take summer school. One option is to get ahead. So the options for you guys are you can take government, consumer ed, culinary 1, culinary 2, Spanish 1, college and career seminar, or stagecraft over summer. The government and consumer ed classes are required to graduate. Typically, you would take those as seniors, but if you do it over the summer, then you get ahead, which allows you space to take an elective of your choice. The other courses are all electives that will actually just advance you ahead in the pathway of your choice. So culinary 1 or culinary 2 could move you ahead so that eventually you could take warrior chef later. If you decide to take Spanish 1, that means you would move ahead and move on to Spanish 2 and Spanish 3 as juniors and seniors. Driver's education. So if you want to take it through school, your opportunity next would be through summer. July 6th through August 6th are the dates for the class. But please you cannot sign up if you're born after April 30th, 2006. Those registration options are now open on Skyward. If you see that blue link, that is our summer school website. It's also available on the district website. If you go under departments and then scroll down to summer school, all the information's there with the prices, the dates of the sessions. One is in June, one is in July, and each session is 3 weeks long. If you do decide to do credit recovery, such as if you did not pass a core class during the school year, you can take that over summer. We do offer English, math, and biology. There may be other options due to the need. So we'll see. Please contact your counselor, though, if you are considering credit recovery over summer, so that we can help you know what is the best plan. Okay. Next slide is about course selection, just some tips and resources. So when you're choosing your courses, make sure you are choosing courses that you actually need to graduate. Also choose courses that are within your career cluster exploration. So if you already know like a career or idea that you want to pursue, make sure your electives are within that pathway. If you know of a college already that you want to pursue, or any type of training program that needs a certain amount of, math or science that's beyond the required courses of high school, make sure that you look into that so that you can take those courses as electives as well. And also make sure you're focusing on your interests and passions. Do not choose courses based on what your peers are taking. Also, don't choose a course just because you want a specific teacher. You need to pick courses that are good for you and good for what you need after high school as well, and also to graduate on time. And also, don't pick courses just to simply fill a spot. We have so many options there. If you need help finding something that you like, please just contact your counselor and we will help direct you to some classes that are within your interests. Also, Schoology. You are under courses class of 2023. That is the year you are graduating. When you go under Schoology, you're going to see all of our resources, such as the district website. We are called Student Services. Our curriculum guide is on there. That gives you all the descriptions of our courses, our MCHS pathways, college admission info. Naviance, if you remember when you were a freshman, you went on there to do like a matchmaking quiz. If you would like to do that again, that matchmaking quiz matches you with careers or majors that would be pertain to you and your interests. So you can take that again at any time. So make sure you get familiar again with Naviance. And if you have any troubles logging into Naviance, make sure you contact your counselor and we will help you log back in. Also, please use your teachers as resources if you need help picking courses, and make an appointment with your counselor if you are unsure once course selection is opened. All right, and I am going to pass the baton to Mr. Boshin.
Hey, sophomores. It's hard to believe that we're at the end of this semester going to be halfway through your high school career. So my slide is really just about logistics of course selection. I cannot stress the importance of the course selection process enough. After you guys make your selections, we're going to close down the Skyward system from March 1st through May 1st. And that basically allows us to tally up all of your selections and make sure that we have the right staff and enough courses to really offer you guys. And so it's critical that we don't make any changes during that process. After May 1st, we open up the course change process as I guess room allows us to. So if there's space in a certain classroom, we can make changes after that deadline or that window that we close down the registration process, as long as there's room in those classes. And I do also have to mention that there are no AP course drops after June 1st. So, you know, make sure that you're really thinking hard about these courses that you want to take. So in a couple slides, we're gonna wrap things up here. And as soon as that happens, you will be able to enter your elective requests within Skyward. In the coming weeks or days, we're going to have some Zoom sessions where the counselors will be available so that you can, you know, seek us out with your personal questions or situational questions that pertain to you. We're also going to offer some office hours, and all of that information is going to be posted to Schoology. We're looking to have everyone finalize their course requests by February 7th. That's going to be a hard deadline. If you don't have your courses picked by then, chances are counselors are going to be tracking you down to make sure that everything is set in Skyward. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Menke.
Hey everybody, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. I got a couple of wrap-up slides here. So as Mr. Boshin said, Skyward is where you will enter your course selections. It's the same place that you did it last year. We will post this slideshow in your Schoology 2023 Post-Secondary Resources course. There is also a lengthy section already in there titled Course Selections. So all the wonderful resources you've heard about today are located there. Again, the description on how to request level changes, because some of the your courses will be preloaded in Skyward. So again, if you don't agree with them, then the instructions there on how to challenge them, you know, you can just follow along with that. So again, a couple quick notes of Skyward. Again, you can link to it there. Just remember to use your student ID number as your username. If you don't remember your password, there's a friendly, helpful forgot password button there. There's also a tutorial video you can link to, and that video is also in Schoology in your post-secondary resources course. It's right there for your reference on how to actually enter your selections in Skyward. So kind of coming to a close here. I got one more slide after this, just so you can keep up with the pacing. Basically, you're going to enter 14 courses in Skyward, because again, year-long courses count as 2 courses. So if you're entering the first semester of English 3 and the second semester of English 3, that counts as 2 courses. So you will enter a total of 14 selections in Skyward, plus 3 backup, or as Skyward calls them, alternate courses. Those are backup electives. It's really important to make sure you select at least 3 backup electives to make sure that in case your first choice is not available, we've got something else there that you're interested in that we can replace that with. The last thing we ever want to do is pick a class for a student, so make sure that you select at least 3 backup alternate electives. Wrapping things up here, the main resources are back on the screen. Again, the 2 that we would refer you to the most are Schoology and your 2023 post-secondary resources course, as well as our page on the district website. As far as people resources, of course, you've got us to help you out, teachers, parents, and use your resources. Make sure that you're making wise, shrewd decisions. At this time, I'm going to start pulling the other counselors back onto the screen with me because I'm feeling lonely right now. We'll start with Mr. Boshin, get his friendly face there. If you have additional specific questions, maybe you thought of something while we were presenting, maybe something else has hit you right now, you can go ahead and enter those in that comment section in YouTube and we can see and respond to them. I responded to a couple already by typing them in, but we can actually pull them back onto the screen here. Bob Bilby, I see that you are full of insight today. So a couple of the great questions that we had, I'll pull them on screen. Frankie asks, so if you took honors American Studies for English, do you have to then do that class for U.S. history? Mr. Myers, if you'd be so kind, former English teacher extraordinaire, would you care to take this question for Frankie?
So if you sign up for American Studies, then what happens is you're really signing up for 2 classes that meet back to back. So American Studies is made up of your junior English requirement and then also your U.S. history requirement. So you will be paired up with an English and social science teacher. So maybe you'll meet first hour with the English teacher and second hour the U.S. history teacher, or it could be 7th hour with the history teacher, 8th hour with the English. They're always back to back. And then sometimes you'll meet as a large group where you'll get together with the period 1 and period 2 combined. But bottom line is if you sign up for American Studies, you're taking care of your English requirement and your U.S. history requirement in just that one course.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Let's pull another question onto the screen here. Joseph asks, wait for it, it'll be there. Is there some sort of credit counter in Skyward or something we can see to determine how many credits we have? Joseph, that is a wonderful question. Unfortunately, Skyward does not have that feature. I will give you the simple answer is that if you've passed 6 classes each semester in high school, you should be okay. You can always ask your counselor for more specific feedback on that. But again, if you've passed 6 classes every semester in high school, you should be in good shape. And if you haven't heard from us already on that topic, you're probably doing okay. Another great question that Shania asks, and this is a great one. I'm so glad somebody asked this question. In order to graduate, do you have to have a certain number of years in world language? Let's see. Of my colleagues, who would like to myth bust this question?
I can. Silence there for a minute. Shania, so you actually do not need world language credits to earn a diploma through McHenry High School. You have to earn a total of just 7 elective credits. We do, though, encourage our students who intend to attend a university, as most universities will require a year or 2 of a foreign language, that you get those done here at the high school because it's cheaper. And that way you can knock those 2 years out. They'll count that in as you apply to different universities. But no, you do not need a certain number of years of a foreign language for graduation. It's just a total 7 elective credits that are needed to graduate.
Thank you very much. Got another question coming in from Tegan here. Do you need government to graduate? That is a great question. That is interesting. Somebody's thinking ahead here. How about Mr. Boshed? You're a government guy. How about you take this one?
I am a government guy, and the answer to that question is yes, you definitely need government to graduate. As a junior, I believe that you're allowed to take it over the summer, but in most cases, you will satisfy that government requirement during your senior year. So we can talk more about that next year.
Got a real go-getter there. Got another great question here. Kind of similar to the last one. Ariana asks, is consumer science different classes or just one? Ariana, we have a class called consumer education. Similar to government, the one Mr. Boshin just talked about, consumer education is typically done during senior year. So that is a class that most people do then. Also similar to government, you can take it over the summer as early as the summer between sophomore and junior year. So if you want to knock something out early on, you can certainly do that. It'd be more to clear room from your potential senior schedule. But again, at some point in the next couple of years, you will have to knock that out. If not over the summer, then senior year. Let's see. Kirsten asks, if you take APUSH, can you also take the honors English class as well? I'm going back to our resident English expert, Mr. Myers, for this one.
So if you're thinking of the honors class, which is Honors American Studies, that means that you would have your government and your English. And so if you decide to take that, then you would not take the AP US History or the AP Language and Comp. Now, some students who feel that they're stronger in history may opt to take AP US History, and if they're weaker in the English, they could opt for English 3. You could split up that way, but you could also take AP US History and AP Language and Comp if you want more of a challenge and you feel that you're strong in both your history and English. But if you take American Studies, then that's the honors English class, and that would be your history and your English combined in those two periods. So I hope that answered that question.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. You are always a wealth of knowledge and insight. Next question comes from Madison. Miss Frederick, I'm queuing you up here for this one. Who do you talk to for a course level change?
All right, so Madison, if you are looking to change a level of one of your courses, you are going to reach out to that divisional. So we have an administrator over each of our core areas: English, math, science, social science. So yeah, Mr. Mankey's going back here. We have them listed here on the right, and you can email the divisional and include your counselor. Make sure to include your reasoning as to why you think you should be changed as well.
Thank you, Mrs. Frederick. Shelby and Catherine both asked similar questions. I'm going to put Shelby's on the screen here, and that has to do with Skyward. What do we need to add our courses into Skyward? So in your Schoology 2023 course, there is a link that says Skyward link. It's even highlighted in yellow. You click on that. For the username, you type in your student ID number. If you recall your password, type it in. If you don't, there's a forgot password button there. So, and then once you get into your Skyward account, I believe, and Mr. Frederick, and if I'm incorrect on this, that there is a button that says course selection. And that is where you will enter your courses. Again, the courses that cover graduation requirements, typically English, math, science, and social science, will likely already be there. That's where you were placed by those administrators in each of these departments that you see on the screen. Again, if you don't agree with that placement, then that's where you go through the process that you see right here. And we also have this process spelled out for you, again, in Schoology in that same course as well. So thank you for that question from both Shelby and Catherine.
And Mr. Mankey, I'm just going to say too, if students are having any issues, if for some reason you're trying to get into Skyward and you're having some issues, we've had a couple little tech glitches that Skyward is working on. So it might be resolved by now, but if you get an error message, just give it maybe till tomorrow. They're working on it.
We got a couple more questions that have come in as well. And again, if you're still watching and you've got another question that has not been resolved, go ahead and type it into that comment in YouTube and we can see it and address it right now. Liliana asks, I am looking to graduate early. So if 4 credits of English are required, how do I take that in one semester of senior year? How about, let's see, Ms. Bachi-Galupo?
Sure, I'll take this one. So if you want to graduate early, you would double up on your English classes senior year. So first semester, you would be taking government, 2 English classes, consumer ed, and PE to make sure you meet all those requirements in that first semester. That's a great question.
Yep. That's one that always comes up. And Liliana, I'm glad that you are thinking ahead, because that's one you definitely have to prepare for to make sure that you've got everything you need going into senior year. Let's see, Miss Shock, I'm queuing you up for this next one. Just trying to spread the wealth here among my colleagues. Haley asks, what if you took government in middle school?
Great question. So all of the classes that you take in middle school are going to be very similar to the classes that you take in high school. But the difference is that you're going to be earning credit for these classes. So unfortunately, if you take classes in middle school, they aren't going to translate over to you not having to take them in high school. All of your classes will start fresh freshman year. Start fresh freshman year. So you have accumulated all those classes, but for government, you will have to take our specific government class senior year.
Got a couple more here. Megan asks, and I'll take this one. What exactly is consumer education? That's a great question, because that's one that doesn't quite fit as cleanly into the other departments that you see on the screen right now. Consumer education, first of all, it is a state graduation requirement. So everybody who attends a public high school in Illinois has to pass a class like this at some point to earn a diploma. What you learn in there is pretty common sense stuff, the kind of things that you need to do to be an adult, how to use a credit card, how to shop for a car and not get taken advantage of financially, how to balance a checkbook, things of that nature. It's a lot of it has to do with financial common sense. So it's info and content that honestly can come in handy for a lot of people. And then Megan asks another great question. I am gonna go back, Miss Frederick. You're in the holding tank for this one. If I wanted to drop American Studies for both English and history and change them, would I have to email the divisional contacts and my counselor, Mrs. Frederick?
Megan, you are absolutely correct. So if you want to drop American Studies, email both Mrs. Namakudis and Mr. Sterner, because that American Studies is both the English and the history. And please put your counselor on the email as well. That's perfect.
Yeah. Well said. More for Megan than you, Mrs. Frederick, but your response was acceptable enough there. We got one more question in the queue. I never forego an opportunity to poke fun at Mrs. Frederick. Kendra asks, is there somewhere where we can see what some of the electives are? Kendra, that is a fundamental question to this entire process. And the answer to that is, of course, in your Schoology course that we've been referencing over and over, underneath the heading Course Selection, there are several resources there, and there are 2 in particular that I would encourage everyone watching and listening to this to use. The first one would be our curriculum guide, which has a description of every single class we offer. It's broken up by department. And the other one is another file document that we call Courses by Career Cluster. And that takes all of our courses and it breaks them up by career area. So for instance, if you're looking at health science as a general career area, you could look to see what electives we have, regardless of what department they're in, that align with your interest. I'll pause for one more moment, see if we have any other questions come in. Oh, let me see. As I put eeny, meeny, miny, mo, another colleague on the spot, Miss Bacigalupo, if you could give one piece of feedback to our sophomores about selecting courses, what would it be?
I would say to put a lot of thought into your selections. You should not be choosing a course because you know your friend wants to take it, because we can't even guarantee you're in the same class. And if you come to us the week before school and want to change your options, we are really limited in what we can do. So really think this out and feel confident about the classes you want to take.
Well said, Ms. Bacigalupo. All right, we don't have any other questions in our tank here, so we will bid you adieu. Use your resources, get those courses entered by February 7th. We are here to help and support as always. Take care.